I beg to move that item advertised as item 7 on today's order paper addendum, page 2, be now taken. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Members, the motion number 7 has been moved. Any seconder?
Yes, Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, this is a procedural motion. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Honourable members, motion numbered 8. Yes, Honourable Deputy Whip.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for calling me. We just did counting, and the number they gave us is wrong. We are 158, and when we count,
Honourable member,
even now we are.
You say what is the number?
It's not easy to read members.
Honourable member, you say what is the number?
We are 158. As I'm speaking to you now, we are even 159.
So at the time it's 158.
58, Mr.
Honourable
Speaker.
members,
So
whether it is 126 or 158, I think the motion is lost.
Recount.
Honourable members, the fact remains that whether the total number at that time is 158 or 126, the motion is lost. Honourable members, motion numbered 8. Honourable members, order. Motion numbered 8. Honourable Minister responsible for finance.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2025.
He is now moving the motion numbered 8. The procedural motion was moved by the minister, seconded by Adongo. Yeah. Then I put the question. But he is now moving motion numbered 8. Honourable Honourable Minority Whip. The motion on the floor is the motion numbered 8, and he is here to move the motion.
Speaker, with respect, I have followed procedure, and I have been following the day's procedure. I saw my minister move the procedural motion, and Speaker, he moved the procedural motion, and the chair seconded it. But I don't recollect the question was put. Oh, I don't recollect that. If it was done, fine, we can move on.
Honourable member,
Speaker, it is not
I put the question.
Malice. I am following the procedure.
Honourable member, the clerks at table can confer and confirm to you.
Speaker, shall we proceed then?
I have duly put the question. Motion numbered 8.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2025 be now read the second time. Mr. Speaker, the object of the bill is to amend the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023, Act 1095 to extend the period of application of the Growth and Sustainability Levy to 2028 and increase the rate of the levy on mining companies only from 1% to 3%. Mr. Speaker, global prices have seen some significant increase. Global good prices in particular has seen some significant increases. But unfortunately, Ghana has not been able to take full advantage of the development. Right, Honorable Speaker, last year around this time, gold price was approximately $2,100. Today, gold price is about $3,000. Mr. Speaker, we have seen some significant increase in the prices of gold. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, Ghana has not been able to take full advantage. So, Speaker, as a country, if there is a tax that we have not done well, with, Mr. Speaker, it has to do with taxation of economic rent. Mr. Speaker, taxation of economic rent refers to the cost of producing a natural resource commodity and the cost of and the revenue. So, Speaker, in the case of Ghana, the cost of producing gold as against the revenue that accrues to the country, the rent is about 14%. Right, Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, taxes that accrues to the state from this rent is only 1.5%. You claim 14% of GDP in terms of rent, yet the country benefits only 1.5%. So, Speaker, last year around this time, as I said, gold price was about $2,100. Gold companies, mining companies were making enough profit. Mr. Speaker, subsequently, gold price has moved from $2,100 to $3,000. $3,000. $900 extra per ounce. So, Speaker, the question is, why is it that the country is not benefiting from these natural resources? Right, Honorable Speaker, in countries like Australia, they have taxation called windfall taxes. So anytime gold prices hit that level, the country benefits. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, Ghana has not benefited from this excessive increase in gold prices. Right, Honorable Speaker, what this bill seeks to do is to take advantage of the gold prices that is going high and has still been projected to go high. So, Speaker, so that as a country we can benefit from our natural resources. So, Speaker, it is only right for Ghana to benefit from this tax. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we are of the opinion that this House must support for Ghana to benefit from the international prices of gold that is going up. Mr. Speaker, I have subsequently engaged with a number of mining companies. Mr. Speaker, I am of the view that in the meantime, as we introduce this tax to rake in some extra revenue for the state to take advantage of the world market price, Ghana as a country must develop a proper taxation regime to tackle the economic rent that accrues to the country. So, Speaker, this will not be the first time. Most countries have introduced taxation of economic rent, but unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we do not have it. So, Speaker, as we speak, South Africa has taxation of economic rent to take advantage of those taxes. So, Speaker, not only South Africa, but most countries, resource-rich countries, has that tax in place. So, Speaker, in the case of oil revenues, we have an embedded windfall taxes in the petroleum agreement. But, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to mining, we do not have such a tax. So all what we are trying to do here is to take advantage of it. Mr. Speaker, again, it's only right for me to update the House that growth and sustainability levy is not a new tax. Mr. Speaker, this particular tax started under 2001 to 2008. The then President Kufuor introduced that tax and it was implemented. Mr. Speaker, President Mills also decided to introduce the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy around the same lines, the same tax. That was also with us. It was continued throughout the regime of President Mahama until 2016. Mr. Speaker, in 2017, the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy the name was changed from the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy to Growth and Sustainability Levy. Mr. Speaker, under President Akufo-Addo. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not a new tax. It has always been with us. It has always been extended. So, as the tradition goes, Mr. Speaker, President Kufuor introduced the National Reconstruction Levy. President Akufo-Addo introduced the Growth and Sustainability Levy. So, as the tradition goes, Mr. Speaker, my colleague, the Honorable Jirapo, says it's like key soap. The tradition continues, Mr. Speaker. So, it is not a new tax. It is not a new tax. We are only continuing the tradition. But in this case, we have seen an opportunity for the Republic of Ghana to benefit from. And that opportunity has to do with an increase in the world market price of gold. So, Speaker, it is only right that the Republic of Ghana benefit from this increase in gold prices. So, Speaker, I so submit.
Honorable members, the motion is moved for the second reading of the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill. I will then give the floor to the chairman of the committee to present the committee's report.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I submit the report of the Committee of Finance. In doing so, I will go through portions of the report and request hands up to capture the entire report as though the same was read on the floor. Mr. Speaker, the rationale of the bill. The committee observed that in 2023, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023 Act 1095 was enacted to raise revenue for government and fiscal sustainability of the economy. The levy was to be imposed on the profit before tax of companies and institutions and on production in the case of mining, upstream oil and gas companies specified in the first column of the first schedule to Act 1095 to be reviewed in 2025. The committee observed that government has introduced the bill to extend the period of application of the levy to 2028. The minister explained that the levy was a key revenue source for government and that the extension will enable government to raise the needed revenue for development. The minister informed the committee that the bill also seeks to increase the rate of the levy on mining companies to 3% to enable the country to take advantage of the significant increase in the price of gold in recent times. The committee noted that given the current economic challenges and the need to raise the needed revenue in order to put the economy back on track, the bill has been introduced to extend the period of application of the Act. Mr. Speaker, the minister indicated that the fiscal impact of this bill is that it will help government to rake in some 3.59 billion to support the fiscal sustainability of our country. Mr. Speaker, the minority had concerns. The minority caucus expressed some concerns that government use of tax lines outside mining agreements to raise funds and indicate that they do not provide certainty for investors in the sector, a situation that could undermine investor interest in Ghana. They asked the minister to come to Parliament with a comprehensive review of the fiscal regime to ensure that investors can plan properly. Mr. Speaker, the committee, under recommendation, having carefully scrutinized the bill, proposes the following amendments. Mr. Speaker,
Honourable member, conclude.
Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the committee has, by a majority decision, recommends to the House to adopt the report approve the passage of the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2025, subject to the amendment proposed. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Honourable members, the motion has been moved, the report has been presented, and at this stage, it is for the honourable members to debate. Yes, Honourable Ranking Member.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Growth and Sustainability Levy. The government is seeking to increase the levy by 200%, from 1% to 3%. That is about 200% increase they are seeking to achieve. Mr. Speaker, my friend, my brother, the Honorable Atu Kwame Nkrumah, has said repeatedly that the mining sector is a leading sector in economic growth. And this is demonstrated by the data. Mining and quarrying contributed 9.4% to GDP, the growth of GDP in 2024. I am wondering why the minister will seek to overtax a sector that is leading our growth. The goose that lays the golden egg is being killed through 200% increase in taxes on a sector that is leading our growth. Mr. Speaker, the minister is prioritizing revenue over growth. By getting this revenue, growth is compromised. And so I'm not surprised that he's projecting the mining and quarrying sector to grow by 3% in 2025. This is not good for our economy. And this is why the minister's growth projection for this year is so low. And this, Mr. Speaker, is abysmal performance. Mr. Speaker, the levy, Growth and Sustainability Levy, Mr. Speaker, is a levy on gross production. A levy on gross production, which means that it has the same features as royalty. And so if you add it to the royalty rate of 5% negotiated in the mineral agreement, the effective rate of royalty is now 8%. If this amendment is passed, mining companies will be paying effective rate of royalty of 8% when you have negotiated 5% in their mineral agreement. You are simply distorting the fiscal regime that underline the assumptions governing these mineral agreements. Mr. Speaker, we have indicated to the minister that if he wants to tax windfall profit, he should come very well. He should come through the mineral agreement. He should bring the Minerals and Mining Act for amendment to include a resource rent tax through which he can renegotiate the mineral agreement and collect those taxes without distorting the fiscal regime. Using a tax handle outside the fiscal regime, outside the mineral agreements, Mr. Speaker, is not the right way to go. He has said that in the oil industry, we have additional oil entitlement, which is used to tax windfall profits. In the solid mineral industry, we also have the resource rent tax, which is used to tax windfall profit. And so the minister should come and introduce the resource rent tax in the Minerals and Mining Act, and that he can then use it as the basis to tax mining companies. He cannot be using a tax handle outside the mineral agreement. This does not create certainty for investors in the industry. He's simply distorting the industry, and investors will not come to Ghana as a result of what the minister is doing. Mr. Speaker, we also have stability clauses in these mineral agreements. I'm wondering what the minister will be saying to the mining companies even though he is well aware that these mineral agreements have stability clauses. He needs to have a tax system that allows both government and the companies to achieve what we call economic equilibrium. But when you do not do that and you distort the tax system, and for that matter, the mineral agreements, you have distorted the assumptions underlying those agreements. And this will not incentivize any mining investor to come and invest in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the Chamber of Mines has already voiced their concern against this amendment. If the minister has consulted them, I'm wondering why the Chamber of Mines petitioned the Finance Committee, complaining about the effect of this on their operations. Mr. Speaker, even if there is justification to tax mining companies more, how about the non-mining companies? Because this bill, Mr. Speaker, is also seeking to extend the sunset clause from this year, 2025, to 2028. The minister was right that this is not a new tax. It is not a new tax. But this tax was supposed to end in 2025. And so for a government that is resetting the country, one would have expected that this government will not extend the sunset clause. For a government that is promising the Ghanaian people that they will abolish taxes, one would have expected that this government will allow this levy to end this year. But by extending it to 2028, it is not only affecting mining companies, but it's also affecting many non-mining companies. And Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, these companies include banks, includes non-bank financial institutions, insurance companies, telecommunications companies. The Honorable Minister for Telecommunications is here. Your companies are going to be taxed with a reintroduction of the levy from 2026 to 2028. 5%, which should have ended this year, is going to be extended for another 3 years. Mr. Speaker, breweries, inspection and valuation companies, bulk oil distribution companies, oil marketing companies, communication tower operators, companies and institutions registered by the Securities and Exchange Commission, specialized deposit-taking institutions, electronic money issuers, shipping lines. These three are seeking to extend it to affect all these companies who will be paying 5%. And Mr. Speaker, this is a levy on profit before tax. A levy on profit before tax means that it is going to affect transaction cost. And where transaction cost is affected, ultimately is the consumer that suffers. The consumer that suffers. And so I am wondering why the government will abolish e-levy and then they are reintroducing the growth and sustainability levy on electronic money issue. I am wondering why they will abolish e-levy and they are reintroducing 5% tax on profit before tax for telecommunication companies. Mr. Speaker, this is like giving something to somebody with the right hand and taking it back with your left hand. Mr. Speaker, this is what this government is doing to companies, as if making profit is a crime. These companies must make profit, because it's only when they make profit that they can grow, that they can expand, and that they can employ more people. The people you are dismissing from employment can only be absorbed by companies that are making profit. Mr. Speaker, this is what this government is doing to the Ghanaian people. And we have to remind them that they must live by their promises to the people of Ghana. You want to abolish tax? We support it, but we will not support you to increase more taxes and increase the tax burden on the Ghanaian people and worsen their circumstances and their conditions of life. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Deputy Minister for Finance, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Finance Minister and the Chairman of the Finance Committee has stated clearly that this is not a new tax. In fact, this particular tax has been with us. It has been part of our tax regime for over 2 decades. And Mr. Speaker, all that we are doing is to extend the tax, the sunset clause. And the only difference is that we've increased the rate for mining companies from 1% to 3%. Mr. Speaker, when I heard the former finance minister asking why we are taxing the sector that is giving growth, I was asking myself why he will ask that question. Would you rather have us tax those that are not doing well? Do you want us to tax teachers? Do you want us to tax nurses? Do you want us to take more from the cocoa farmers who are struggling? Is that what you want us to do? That is clearly the difference between you and us. That is the difference between you and us. We have decided to give more to the suffering Ghanaians through the abolition of the e-levy. We have decided to give more to Ghanaians through the abolition of the betting tax. And we are asking the mining companies that are making super profit at this time that give us a little to develop Ghana. Is this too much to ask? So, Mr. Speaker, we have chosen not to tax Kayais. We have chosen not to tax the suffering Ghanaians. In fact, the incidence of this tax on the mining companies is on the big companies that are making big profits. So that is clearly the difference between you and us. And allow us to implement this to develop Ghana. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kojo Nkrumah.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to comment on this report. Mr. Speaker, we on this side are unable to support our colleagues on this particular revenue bill which they have brought, unlike we have done on the other bills, for a specific reason. It's because the way they are going to collapse the private sector in this country. Yes. Mr. Speaker, if you listen to the finance minister and his deputy, they are laboring under the misapprehension that what they are enacting affects only the mining companies. That is incorrect. Please look at the details. You see, first of all, you have based your entire calculation on what you call the rental when it comes to mining, the economic rent when it comes to mining. And you are making the argument that the economic rent, please listen, don't shout, listen. The economic rent when it comes to mining, you are saying is 14%. That 14% is economic rent for the entire extractive sector, not just mining. It's for the entire extractive sector. In fact, Honorable Minister, I can share with you data from the World Bank that disproves this assertion that you are basing this revenue measure on. And so it is important that you disabuse your mind of this assumption that the 14% is for mining. Therefore, mining companies are making so much profit and so you should tax them some more. If you look at the World Bank data, extractive sector. Now, because of that, the second implication of what you are doing is that, you see, you are assuming that gold prices are rising and so tax these mines some more. What about manganese? What about bauxite? This same assumption you are making will now end up making the companies that operate in those areas make a lot more losses. And so this is your assumption on which basis you are imposing this particular tax. And let's be clear, this is a new tax you are bringing from 2026 to 2028. This assumption is flawed. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, it is very heartbreaking to hear the finance minister here in this chamber says that the tradition must continue. The tradition must continue. The tradition must continue. But when you were campaigning, you were talking about reset. Yeah, but reset is not equal to continuing the tradition. If you campaign that this tradition was not good enough and was stifling industry, how can you argue today after people have voted for you and you have become the big men and women that the tradition must continue?
This particular tax is dying on the 31st of December 2025. Please do not reimpose it from 2026 to 2028 under the guise that the tradition must continue. And my last point, it's not just about mining or even the extractive sector generally. As the former Minister for Finance has explained, it affects several other industries, financial institutions, banks, non-banking financial institutions, insurance companies, telecoms. And the effect is that all of these who have already agreed on their profit before tax and their profit after tax with their parent companies, what are they going to do? They're going to pass it on to the consumers in the value chain. And so we pray you to reconsider this particular tax that you want to impose from 2026 to 2028. That is why we are unable to support you on it. And not just imposing it from 2026 to 2028, but also increasing that of the mining companies by 200%. We think it's untoward. We think that it will kill or collapse private sector in this country. And so please reconsider your position. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, honorable members, before giving the floor to the finance minister, let's agree on the number that we are taking. Yes. How many more would I take? Well, honorable members, it's been agreed that we should take 3. So, honorable members.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, I'll come to you and take the 3 from here as well,
Mr.
if you are mindful. No. Then 3
language, so that the Ghanaian people can appreciate what the finance minister is trying to do. Mr. Speaker, the finance minister is saying that for mining companies, whenever they produce the gold, bring the gold to me, I'm going to charge 3% on the total gold you have produced before you can go to determine whether you make profit or loss. That is basically what the finance minister seeks to do. And Mr. Speaker, if the argument is that we want to tax economic rent or rent from the mining of gold, one would have assumed that such a tax should be imposed on the profit of the mining companies. But if you impose tax on the gross production, on the gross profit of a mining company, you are basically adding into the cost build-up of the mining company. And such a measure is pure, if you like, for the purpose of the plundering of the resources of the mining companies. And, Mr. Speaker, such a measure should not be condoned by this House. Such a measure should not be condoned by this House, because when we do that, tomorrow, the finance minister will come and tell us that bauxite mining companies, manganese mining companies, they are making windfall, so we should tax their gross production. Mr. Speaker, there is also another reason why the finance minister should not be given this opportunity. He explained that we should support him because there is no framework for taxing resources rent in the context of solid minerals. Mr. Speaker, the fact that we are inefficient in developing models and frameworks to taxing economic rent should not be visited on the mining companies. The government has to take the responsibility of designing, of targeting the relevant people, of targeting the relevant production, and targeting the relevant economic activity that will produce the rent. You don't visit on the whole sector a policy that seeks to punish everyone due to the inefficiency of government. Mr. Speaker, he also explained that it is only a stopgap measure. Mr. Speaker, what kind of a stopgap measure will run for 2026, 2027, 2028, 2020? Mr. Speaker, a stopgap measure should only go for, say, a year. It will run for 4 years, Mr. Speaker. And that is the more reason why it is difficult for us to support such a measure. Mr. Speaker, the other argument is that we want to protect our mining resources. We want to fight galamsey. Mr. Speaker, In this House, today we have approved as a bill the special import levy. We have also removed the 10% VAT on mining, on the proceeds of small-scale miners. The argument we at Galamsey, Mr. Speaker, what this measure is doing is basically reversing the gains we have made by the tax we have approved. In other words, on one hand, we are removing 10% VAT because we want to stop Galamsey. On another hand, we are charging 20,000 basis points. We are increasing this tax by about 20,000 basis points, Mr. Speaker. That is 200% increase in the tax rate from 1% to 3%. So it is like robbing Paul on one side to pay Peter on the other side. Mr. Speaker, that is not good policy. That is not good resource management. That is not good fiscal policy. In other words, this policy is not going to, it's only going to aid Galamsey. And Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the argument is also that the Chamber of Mines, Mr. Speaker, the Chamber of Mines made the committee. They spoke. If you listen to them, you will understand their pain. Mr. Speaker, what they said, which is telling, is that some of their members are in the deep hole. Some of their members are in the deep hole. And by the blanket application of this tax measure, you are basically putting those people deeper down the hole. And on top of that, you are heaping coal on them. You are going to burn them. What is the essence of a tax measure that does not provide security, that does not provide safety for those at the bottom? One of the cardinal principles, knowledge of taxation, is fairness. Mr. Speaker, a tax measure that is not fair, that does not provide safety, that does not provide cover for those at the bottom is not a good tax measure. And this tax measure has not done that. The chamber met us and they complained bitterly, Mr. Speaker. We even agree that as a minimum, let's give them the time to go and consult. They had engagement. They were supposed to have engagement with the president. Up to today, Mr. Speaker, the finance minister has not reported to us whether or not that engagement has resulted to a positive acceptance of this tax measure. He has not reported to us. And without such a report, and we pass this particular measure, we are basically calling the bluff of the Chamber of Mines. Without that report, and we pass this measure, we are basically burying the sector that is contributing to our growth. Without this particular report, we are basically saying that the sector that is contributing to our growth should not prosper. Mr. Speaker, these are the reasons why we think that the House should not accept the bill in its current form. We are ready to accept the bill if we come with relevant amendment that incorporates the consent of Chamber of Mines, that incorporates the concern that this tax is not fair, that incorporates the fact that this tax measure is not helping the good people of Ghana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader. Yes, the minister will conclude.
Mr. Speaker, paragraph 8.2 of this report reads, the committee by a majority decision recommends to the House to adopt this report and approve the passage of the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2025, subject to the amendment proposed. Mr. Speaker, so clearly from this report, our side, the minority, does not support this bill. Two reasons. One, we've read through the mischief of government in this bill. The government is aware that this law, which expires in 2025, 31st December, at 1%, they are taking advantage of their goodwill now
to increase it 200%, trying to rush it through Parliament because of their numbers. Mr. Speaker, this government is fully aware that there should be no rush if a law expires 31st December 2025. Why are you in a hurry? Because you want to increase taxes on the blind side of the Ghanaian entrepreneur. Now you say you want to attract investment into the country. You are even introducing what you are calling the gold board and all, to encourage mining activities and to encourage investors in that sector. But in the justification by the finance minister, he focused only on gold, forgetting about other sectors, other areas, other minerals. Mr. Speaker, it is strange that this government that came into office promising Ghanaians that taxes will be repealed is now imposing more taxes on Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7.1, and by the way, start bringing your people in because we are going to vote on this. I've seen many empty seats, so start bringing them in. I've counted, you're only about 70. Bring them in so that you don't challenge the vote again. Bring your people in. A lot of empty seats. Anyway, let me go on. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7.1. The committee, having carefully scrutinized the bill, proposes the following amendment for the consideration of the House. So, Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, clause 2. They are deleting and inserting a new schedule. For those who are asking me to provide evidence of increase in taxation in this bill, listen to this. You are amending from 1% to 3%. And you say the tradition goes on. You are not even ashamed. Mr. Speaker, I've been asking this question and I will ask it for the umpteenth time. Is this government really for the private sector? Ask again. Is this government really for the Ghanaian entrepreneur? Some few minutes ago, you extended the special import levy. You even wanted to do it for, into perpetuity. Forever. Until we saw through and stopped you. And arrested them. And then now you say you are extending it to 2028. Now you are done with spare part dealers. You are done with Aboso kind businessmen. You are now burdening the Swame businessman. You have now moved to the mining sector. And then you claim that they are making supernormal profit. Do you have proof of their financial statements? Have you listened to the industry players? And like my respected colleague Kabiru said, you are aware that the industry players have petitioned you, yet the Ethiopia Mahama administration is going ahead. You are not listening to industry players.
Honorable Minority Leader, recognize the chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, when they are on their feet, we allow them to finish. When it gets to our point,
honorable member,
Mr. Speaker, I'm asking.
you see, I've been mentioning that the rules are clear.
Yes.
That you don't speak a language other than English. When you speak another language, you translate. So when such a thing happens and a member is on his feet, I am inclined to recognize the member.
Mr. Speaker, bear with me. So you want me to interpret the Ethiopia.
Yeah, so when you say
Very
it
well,
and the
Mr.
member
Speaker.
is on his feet,
All right, you should sit
I have
down.
to recognize the member.
I will interpret the
I have
Ethiopia.
recognized the member.
You've recognized him?
Yes.
Very well. No problem. Have a bite, Honorable Chair.
It's clear that the minority leader was not at committee. We got a petition from the Chamber of Mines. We called them, gave them audience, and they made their case. And the minister made his case, and they abandoned their case and moved on. So it is not true. It is not true that the industry players were not listened to. The industry players petitioned the committee. We invited them to come and make their case, and in the end, we arrived at a conclusion, which is what we have reported to the plenary. So I just wanted to make a case that it is not true that industry players were not listened to. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Yes, honourable member, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, the Ghana Chamber of Mines and Industry has issued a public statement on this matter within the last 1 hour. Yes, it's here. Mr. Speaker, with respect, the concerns they have raised have not been addressed. And I'm saying that the government should not be in a hurry. The government should not be in a hurry to rush this through. Mr. Speaker, the finance minister is in a hurry. What is the time? It is getting to 9 p.m. And he wants to rush this through. Mr. Speaker, a caring government will listen to the concerns of industry. Mr. Speaker, how can you increase by 200%? Mr. Speaker, promise taxation, no taxes at all. You said you are going to repeal taxes.
Yes, Honourable Majority Leader. Honourable Majority Leader. I recognize the Majority Leader.
This government formed out of the National Democratic Congress Party promised Ghanaians that there will be no taxation. Mr. Speaker, the government specifically, the party listed specifically, there was no promise not to tax. So please be guided.
Honourable member, take note and proceed.
Mr. Speaker, this government made promises to the ordinary Ghanaian. The impression that it created during the campaign was that there will be no taxes. The impression you created, which impression led to your victory, was to the effect that you will not tax industry. You would allow industry to retain their profit for reinvestment. Today, the Aboso kind people have been given a raw deal. You have imposed a levy on them and extended to 2028. Now you've got into the mining sector. Mr. Speaker, we are opposed to this because this government is not listening to the industry players. They are just in a hurry. In any event, let me ask a simple question. If you claim that this tax is already in existence and expires 31st December 2025, why are you in a hurry? It's getting to 9 p.m. It's getting to 9 p.m. Why are you in a hurry to rush it through? At least, if for nothing at all, why not maintain the 1%? Why are you increasing?
3%.
Clearly,
You are extending an increase.
today, your true colors have been exposed. You've exposed yourselves. Ghanaians have gotten to know who you are. You came to impose taxes on industry. Mr. Speaker, you claim you are repealing e-levy. You repeal e-levy in one with your left hand and collect more taxes with your right hand. Mr. Speaker, this is most unfair. And besides, you are increasing the period to 2028. Mr. Speaker, we are opposed to this. And Mr. Speaker, we will not wait to go to consideration stage. At this very stage of considering the principles, we will vote on this. We want Ghanaians to know that your majority is not a majority that cares. Your majority does not care about the ordinary Ghanaian and the business community. You are not even a listening majority in this chamber. You don't want to listen to the views we express for the right thing to be done. The finance minister will not listen. The finance minister will not listen to good counsel from the minority. Because he's made up his mind that what he will do is what he will do. Mr. Speaker, we are going to vote against this. And we are not going to tolerate
Honorable
the
Minority Leader.
majority dictatorship in this chamber.
Honorable Minority Leader.
How can you increase?
I recognize
levy
Majority Leader.
to
Majority Leader, you
How
have the
can you do
floor.
this?
Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader has given very clear indication the direction of things. He says they are going to oppose. Mr. Speaker, can we have an indication as to how much speaking time people should have on these matters? Because we are clear that even if you speak for 1 hour, we are going to vote in the end. So let's just go ahead and vote. Let's just go ahead and vote. So, Mr. Speaker, let's have a clear indication as to time for leadership to speak. Vote.
Honorable Minority Leader, try and conclude.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this thing started some few weeks back. I decided to ignore, but today and this very time, this evening, I want to respond. Mr. Majority Leader, most respectfully, I shall continue to accord you every respect. Please allow debate to flow. It is very clear to me, that you are not ready to listen to dissenting views, and particularly those who come here to heckle. They come in during voting time. Those who really want to debate, they stay. We have few of you who stay in for debate. When it gets to voting, you are whipped in, and all you come is to make noise and distract and to be heckling. Mr. Speaker, the point here is the finance minister should stand down this bill. There should be further consultation on this matter. The industry players have issued a statement.
I recognize the minister responsible for communication.
The industry players
Yes, Minister for
have
Communication.
expressed some concerns.
Honorable Minority Leader, I recognize the Minister for Communication.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we are all colleagues in the House. For the minority leader to say that some of us don't come to the chamber and we are only whipped in to come and make noise when it's time to vote is offensive and must be withdrawn because it is unparliamentary. He must apologize and withdraw.
Yes, Minority Whip.
Speaker, you had earlier recognized the Minister for Communication to speak. Speaker, may I refer you to Order 115? Order 115. The Minister for Communication is in direct breach of Order 115, and therefore I invite you to rule him out of order. Yes, and his comments should be expunged from the records. Check. Open your records. Open your orders. Go and sit on your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I am in my seat, and Mr. Speaker, I want to state for the record that in this House, it is unparliamentary, it is unbecoming, and it is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, if it was any of the first timers at the back